And a lot of people will say, Tank is too small. Let me tell you something. Anybody that gets in the ring with Tank that is not a damn dinosaur is gonna feel something from it. And it ain't gonna be easy to hit it. Got boxing IQ. He may not sound like an intellectual guy when you hear him talk, but he knows the ring inside and out.
In Florida, man looks absolutely amazing. Man looks like a monster. Man looks like precision. Jake Paul cannot take those body shots.
Oh, Tank's gonna kill him. Tank's gonna kill him because he won't be able to touch Tank. And then
okay. It's kind of like the Tyson thing again, though, right? Like when
it reminded me of that, but it also reminded me of like, oh, in barbershops across the world, people, or at least the country, people will talk about this and be like, oh, Tank's gonna kill him because he will not get hit.
The boxing world is in shock as Gervonta Davis appears in peak condition ahead of his upcoming showdown with Jake Paul. Training clips reveal him smashing the heavy bag with explosive force and pinpoint accuracy. His focused movements and relentless pace prove how seriously he's taking this fight, leaving boxing insiders amazed by his sharpness, stamina, and confidence before the massive matchup. Analysts believe Gervonta Davis has a strong chance of victory, but only if he fights smart. They emphasize that he must rely on movement, timing, and ring control rather than chasing an early knockout. Tank's brilliance comes from his patience and ability to read his opponent's rhythm. Experts suggest that if he sticks and moves effectively, Jake Paul won't be able to handle his precision or speed. Davis is known as one of boxing's most explosive punchers, yet it's his defense and counterpunching that make him truly dangerous. Many agree that when he fights with focus and discipline, no opponent at Jake's level can match his technique, power, and footwork.
Can his speed and, his ability make up for that size difference, in your honest opinion?
Well, he has to be very smart throughout the course of the fight. It's hard to know in some things. I think Gervonta's just gonna stick and move. He'll be fast, play it smart, I don't see him staying still for too long so Jake can land some shots. He'll just try to touch him. Who knows, man? It's an exhibition. It's a money grab. Jake's fighting one of the best boxers ever.
Experts predict that Jake Paul will face a harsh awakening once he steps into the ring with Gervonta Davis. They say Tank's experience, speed, and ring IQ are far beyond anything Jake has ever faced. Jake's past opponents, though strong, lacked Tank's ability to time and exploit every mistake. Many analysts expect the power difference to be overwhelming once Tank lands clean. They describe Jake's defense as raw and untested, while Davis's experience lets him read every movement with precision. For that reason, a knockout seems almost certain. The general belief is that when Tank connects, Jake won't have the awareness or stamina to recover, leading to a sudden and brutal finish.
Tank Davis look crazy, bro. Chilaquiles. Gervonta Tank Davis hitting a heavy bag in preparation for his Jake Paul fight November 14th down there in Florida. Man looks absolutely amazing. Man looks like a monster. Man looks like precision. Jake Paul cannot take those body shots. You mean to tell me somebody who done fought UFC fighters and a man with Parkinson's disease can take a body punch from Gervonta Tank Davis, and y'all basing y'all logic just because Jake Paul is big? No, Tank's gonna go ahead and put this man to sleep. I'm telling y'all that right now. If Tank don't put this man to sleep, he done let the black community down, he done let boxing down, and he ain't never been that nice. You Tank fans, y'all trying trying to give him a pass. If y'all said Tank is as skilled as y'all say he is, if he does not put Jake Paul to sleep and stop Jake Paul, his boxing career is absolutely voided. He already don't care about legacy, and just imagine he don't knock out Jake Paul, and now y'all gonna say it's not a real fight, it's an exhibition. No, we not giving no passes, bro. This Gervonta Tank Davis, he needs to put Jake Paul to sleep. I don't want to hear nothing about, oh, Jake Paul too big. No, Jake Paul chin ain't never been tested by somebody that hit as hard as Gervonta Tank Davis. Tank should put this man to sleep with ease. I'll say that respectfully. If you don't put him to sleep,
a 2-pack of ass. That shit stinks.
That's a 2-pack of ass at the highest level. And it's a musty energy at the highest level. Get it together. Get it together. Tank looks amazing. That's the Chilla Killer.
Chilla Killers. Chilla Killers.
The subject of weight has become one of the biggest debates surrounding this fight. Some argue that the size difference is too large to overlook, while others believe Gervonta's refined skills will outshine any physical disadvantage. Fans and experts remain divided. Some question whether the fight should even happen given Jake's larger frame. Still, Tank supporters insist that his speed, accuracy, and discipline allow him to dominate bigger fighters with ease. They remind everyone that boxing is about control, timing, and angles, not size. Many feel Jake's fundamentals are still too basic to pose a real threat, and Tank's technical mastery will cancel out any size advantage Jake brings.
It is happening. WBA lightweight champion Gervonta Davis, who's unbeaten in 31 professional contests, takes on the self-proclaimed problem child, Jake Paul, one of the most influential and marketable global personalities. Paul and Davis square off in Miami after doubts around the fight being sanctioned in Georgia triggered a change in venue. Neither fighter can weigh more than 195 pounds. The weight is perhaps the most surprising factor. Paul has boxed most of his career around 200 pounds, the cruiserweight limit, but did tip the scales at 227 pounds when he faced off against Iron Mike Tyson last year. Davis, much smaller in stature, competes at the 135 pound mark and has also won world honours at super featherweight.
And despite some discussions about possibly dropping down to 10 ounces, the pair seem set to wear 12-ounce gloves.
And in terms of distance, despite the exhibition tag, the fight will play out over 10 3-minute rounds with 3 scoring judges at ringside, but the result will not be officially recorded on their professional records.
Michael Bisping acknowledges Tank's incredible skill and power but warns that size can't be fully ignored. He respects Gervonta's ability to adapt against larger opponents, yet he points out that physical differences always play a role. According to Bisping, Tank can outthink and outmaneuver Jake, but the weight gap might challenge his endurance and ability to absorb heavier punches. Still, he praises Tank's mindset and believes that if anyone can overcome that disadvantage, it's him. He concludes that although size remains a factor, Davis's technical intelligence and precision might still be enough to overcome Jake's physical edge if he executes his strategy perfectly.
Out there taking on Mike Tyson that's pushing 60 years old, for crying out loud, but at the same time pretending to be like this badass motherfucker, sending me DMs talking. He offered me a contract a long time ago, and I was like, what are you doing? I'm a retired fighter and I've got one eye. Why would I want to fight you? I wouldn't lower myself to doing that. I know a lot of people do that. They do lower themselves, if you want to say that, because of the payday, because Jake Paul is a big name. He is a social media sensation. He's a YouTube star. And now, of course, in the world of boxing, he's one of boxing's biggest stars because he puts on these spectacles like Paul versus Tyson, like Nate Diaz, because these are the fighters, these are the names that attract the eyes. Jake Paul is the B-side to almost every single one of his fights. When he fought Nate Diaz, people were tuning in for Nate Diaz. His last fight against Cesar Chavez Jr., apparently no one watched that fight. Apparently the pay-per-views were ridiculously low. So this one's going back to Netflix on November 14th, and it's an exhibition bout. Of course, it's an exhibition bout because no athletic commission in their right mind will sanction this fight. There's just no way you can make this a legitimate fight because of the size advantage. Typically, this would be very, very dangerous and someone could get really hurt. If Jake Paul was to swing as hard as he could and connect and wobble him and hit him many, many times and not knock him out, with the bigger gloves and the concussion possibilities and the brain rattling around inside the head, and Jake Paul just teeing off at him as hard as he could, it's dangerous. That's why fights like this can't get sanctioned. That's why this is a exhibition bout and not a real matchup. Now listen, they're both going to get paid tremendously. They're going to make a ton of money and a lot of people are going to tune in and watch it on Netflix. Fair play.
Several analysts argue that Gervonta Davis's record has been unfairly disrespected. They note that fighters who've shared the ring with Tank often gain huge recognition afterward. For example, opponents like Lamont, who were relatively unknown before facing Davis, have gone on to achieve greater popularity and success following their fights with him. Analysts claim this proves Tank's influence and star power in the sport. They reject the idea that Davis isn't the face of boxing, pointing out how his fights create opportunities for others and keep fans invested. To them, dismissing his legacy ignores how much he's elevated other fighters simply by stepping into the ring with them.
Ongoing discussion in the boxing world about Gervonta Davis and Gervonta Davis, his resume, who he's going to fight, the competitors that he's going to fight. And every once in a while, something happens that proves that Gervonta Davis is the face of that. If he's not the face of boxing because people just don't want him to be that, man, he is real close to it, because other than Canelo Alvarez, and even consider Canelo Alvarez included, nobody in boxing has divisions circulating around him like Gervonta Davis does. And that was proved during this Lamont Roach versus Pitbull Cruz announcement for their pay-per-view. Just think about this. Gervonta Davis, they always say that Gervonta Davis has a poor resume, but yet Gervonta Davis, guys that fight Gervonta Davis, lose to Gervonta Davis, or get a draw to Gervonta Davis, can fight one another and make an anticipated pay-per-view between the two of them. Because that fight with Pitbull Cruz is a very, very popular fighter with Mexican fight fans. Lamont Roach got a lot of name exposure with black fight fans and Mexican fight fans and white fight fans, all with his draw that he got against Gervonta Davis. Now they believe that this is going to be able to be a profitable endeavor for a pay-per-view. Now, let me also tell you that Rolly Romero, who was somebody else that Gervonta Davis fought in the past, will be on a pay-per-view that's going to be successful, most likely, when he defends his WBC 140-pound championship. Or does he have the WBA?
Coach Reg offers a balanced take on the criticism directed at Davis. He reminds people that Gervonta has already achieved more than most fighters his age. According to him, there's nothing wrong with taking big money fights once you've proven your worth. Reg believes Tank deserves to secure his financial future after years of hard work and risk. He explains that every boxer eventually reaches a stage where earning life-changing paydays becomes essential. For Reg, critics overlook how much Tank has done for the sport and underestimate his commitment. He believes that whether Tank retires soon or keeps fighting, he's already cemented his place among the best lightweights of this generation.
You know what I mean? Especially Tank been talking about retirement, so why not get the bag and then go about your business if that's your plan? I mean, if that's your plan to retire, then go get the bag and then go about your business. You ain't doing nothing wrong. I'm not against it.
You got some people that are very critical of Tank. Does it make sense depending on what you're in boxing for? Because you got some people that want to fight the best. You got some people that want the accolades, the belts, the undisputed. And you got some people that just came in this game like, look, I'm trying to get my family out of poverty and give us generational wealth. Does it all depend on what you decided to box for?
Well, Tank accomplished a lot at a young age. You know what I mean? He accomplished a lot at a young age. So I wouldn't be mad if he took the bag and went about his business and never fought again. You know what I mean? Plus, look at some of the things that he's going through. You know what I'm saying? So, a lot of that can affect you as well. You know what I'm saying? Like when you're trying to be in this game. So, I think, get the bag and go. That's your plan. Get the bag and go.
For me, of course, I want him to see him fight Shakur.
I wanted to see him fight Devin.
Yeah, we all wanted to see him fight.
Guess what, bro?
Some analysts point out that much of the buzz around this fight comes from Davis's popularity and cultural impact. As one of the most recognized black fighters in America, Tank naturally attracts major fan and media attention. His fights go beyond sports. They become cultural moments that resonate deeply with audiences. Experts say his fame has made him one of boxing's biggest stars, bringing both admiration and criticism. They add that public perception plays a major role in how fights like this are received, and Davis's fame ensures his every move becomes headline news. Still, most agree that his talent, not just his fame, is what truly keeps him in the spotlight.